So I really want to dive into 7 essential nutrients that your thyroid absolutely needs in order to really function optimally. Okay, so let's dive into the very first one, and that is vitamin A. So, vitamin A is a very important fat soluble vitamin for the thyroid. It helps to balance the correct levels of thyroid hormone in the body, and it's also needed for proper liver function, which your liver plays a really big role in thyroid health because it helps with converting T4 to T3. So, it's really important to get vitamin A into your diet. But it's really important to understand that vitamin A, also known as retinol, is only found in animal foods, not in vegetables. Okay. Vegetables contain beta carotene, and this can be converted in the body to vitamin A, to retinol in small amounts. But your thyroid needs to be working optimally in order to do so. So if you do have thyroid issues and thyroid disease, your body is going to have to work really, really hard taking that beta carotene and transferring it into the active form of vitamin A or retinol. So it's really important to be getting some of these animal foods in. I know that there's going to be perhaps a lot of vegetarians or vegans that are not going to agree with me on this. And listen, that is okay. I am sharing this from my many, many years of experience and working very closely with thyroid health, and also working on myself, on my own issues with low thyroid function and Hashimoto's, and looking at thousands of lab results and tests and hormones and mineral deficiencies, and really seeing what is moving the needle here. And that's where we can see that retinol really plays a big role here. So, food sources of vitamin A. Liver, and I know that doesn't sound very exciting. So beef liver is going to be fantastic. Yes, you can eat technically any liver, any form of liver, like chicken liver or whatever, but beef liver is going to give you the more bang for the buck, essentially. You can, you know, cook it and add it into different, burgers. And I have a friend that likes to add it into taco meat. I haven't done that yet. I actually do supplement with beef liver because it's one of those things that I have a hard time actually eating. But I am trying to take more of that food first approach. So I've been incorporating it every so often here and there. I actually really love eating chicken liver, and I love like chicken liver pate, but it just doesn't give you that bang for the buck in terms of that retinol and that vitamin A. Also, fatty fish is a really great option. Raw dairy, if you can get your hands on raw dairy, I've actually just started to incorporate some raw dairy into my diet. And, the real raw dairy that is unpasteurized, that we've been known for years to fear, is actually incredibly beneficial and healing and therapeutic. It has all the vitamins and all the minerals and all the enzymes that we actually need in order to support and optimize our digestion and digest the protein and the fat that's actually in that dairy. And so once that gets pasteurized and then we remove all of that, we lose those enzymes, we lose those minerals. Oftentimes, sugar is added, and it goes from being this really healthy, therapeutic food to being something, well, not so great. And this is why so many people have issues with the digestion. I always joke with a lot of our clients saying how, like, we don't have 2% cows or 1% cows or skim milk cows. We have cows that are producing raw milk, and they are producing full fat milk, full fat dairy for a reason, because you actually need that fat in the dairy to absorb and digest and assimilate all those nutrients, all the fat soluble nutrients that are in there. Okay. Pastured meats is also going to be a really great source of vitamin A as well. And another amazing source is cod liver oil. So, yes, you can supplement with this. This is also something that I have started to include because my thyroid needs that support and it really needs that boost. And I need to really get in that retinol, which is what you get from cod liver oil. So, of course, I'm talking about a food first approach here, but yes, there are definitely some supplements like beef liver capsules or cod liver oil. Zinc, that's next up on the list. Zinc is really important for thyroid health. I remember many, many years ago, this actually has nothing to do with thyroid health, but just as an aside, I think I've said this before on a podcast episode where back in the day when I was studying nutrition, in one of our classes, our teacher said, zinc is for the dink. And when she said that, I never forgot it, clearly, many years later, almost 15 years later, I have never forgotten that. And it really is amazing for prostate health. And so, ladies, let the gentleman in your life know how important zinc is. Thyroid stimulating hormone production, and for the conversion of that free T4 to free T3, which is your active form of thyroid hormone. It's also needed to create proper amounts of stomach acid, which enables the body to utilize and assimilate nutrients from your food. So, zinc and your stomach acid, they work very synergistically together, meaning that you need stomach acid to make zinc, but you also need zinc to make stomach acid. So if you're deficient in zinc, there's a good chance that you are probably eating in a really stressed state, or that you just have a lot of stress going on. And then you're not producing enough stomach acid, which over time can lead to feelings of like acid reflux and heartburn and indigestion. So, really start to just pay attention to some of those symptoms. If they are showing up, it might mean that you need some more zinc in your diet. Also, things like apple cider vinegar is a really great option for helping to support that stomach acid. So, even if you take a tablespoon mixed in just a little bit of water about 15 to 20 minutes before you eat a meal, that can actually help with stomach acid production. So, if you're finding those digestive symptoms showing up, that could be like a sort of a quick fix, but not necessarily a long term fix, because if it's very chronic and constantly showing up, there's probably a sign of stress and also underlying mineral deficiencies that could be causing that. So, some of the best sources, food sources of zinc, pastured meats, again, that's going to be a really great option. Ideally, you want to look for pasture raised, grass fed, organic as much as you possibly can. Organic eggs are an amazing source of zinc, as well as being loaded with choline and just so much brain fuel inside of eggs. Cultured dairy is going to be a really great source as well. And then oysters. I actually love eating oysters, putting a little bit of hot sauce on there and some horseradish, and I absolutely love them. They are just delicious. But from a plant based perspective, foods like soaked chickpeas, lentils, and even pumpkin seeds, they do contain zinc. It can be really difficult to get enough daily zinc from these plant foods. So if you can find a way to incorporate the best of both and having some plant based as well as some omnivore options, that's going to be a really great way to sort of meet those recommended daily amounts for you. Okay, next up is iodine. We've probably heard so much about iodine. It is literally present in every organ and tissue in the body. It's not just important for thyroid function, but for healthy breast tissue and the prostate, ovaries, skin health. It's important for fetal development. It plays a really big role in our immune system. So, iodine is really, really important. And if you don't have enough iodine in the body, you cannot make enough thyroid hormone, in particular, your free T4, which over time can lead to low thyroid function, also known as hypothyroidism. So, additionally, iodine is going to play a really significant role in your liver's ability to convert your thyroid hormones. So, I mentioned earlier that your liver plays a really big role here with thyroid health. And so, your liver converts free T4 into your active thyroid hormone, free T3. And when the body doesn't convert enough of that T4 to T3, this is where a lot of symptoms can start to arise, and this can lead to low thyroid function. So, again, focusing on a food first approach. We want to incorporate sea veggies in our diet. I don't know if you guys eat those like seaweed snacks. They are literally strangely addictive. And they actually say that exactly on their packaging, strangely addictive. And they're so good. I absolutely love them. So kelp or dulse or nori, those are all going to be some really great options for you. Wild seafood, unpasteurized, unprocessed, organic dairy, raw milk, raw cream, cultured yogurt. Those are all going to be really great sources as well. And pastured organic eggs will be an amazing source of iodine as well. When it comes to raw dairy, so I mentioned that I've started to incorporate that into my diet and just been drinking about like a half cup of it every day. And I was also given some raw cream cheese, and oh my God, it is just so delicious and so creamy. So I will take like a keto bagel that I have and I will spread on some of the raw cream cheese on there and then top it with like a tomato, sprinkle on the everything bagel seasoning on top. And it's just so delicious. I absolutely love it. So again, a really great way to get in your iodine by using, raw dairy. Moving on to tyrosine. So tyrosine, the thyroid combines tyrosine and iodine to make thyroid hormones. So it's really essential for your T4, your free T4, your T3, your free T3 for all of it. So in fact, the T in thyroid hormone stands for tyrosine. So we absolutely need tyrosine in order for healthy thyroid function. So some of your best food sources are going to come from pastured meats as well. That's an ongoing here that you can see pretty much with all of these nutrients. So like beef, chicken, pork, lamb, any of those. Pastured eggs will be great. Raw dairy will be also great. Wild fish, cultured yogurt, and then also soaked almonds. It will help with the digestibility, and lima beans. Those are really great sources of tyrosine. You do not want to supplement with tyrosine. You really do want to be careful with that. So, again, like I would be careful with a lot of this in terms of supplementation, tyrosine specifically, as well as iron. Iron is something I'm going to dive deeper into in another episode in the future because there's a lot of misconception around having low iron and then supplementing with it. But of all the clients that we have worked with over the years, in 15 plus years, it's not moving the needle. It's actually not increasing your iron. So what happens is we have a lot of stored iron. And so we don't want to keep taking iron. So again, it's really important to get proper testing so you can see these things and then gauge specifically what you need for yourself. And then just going back to the tyrosine note for a second, it can have some negative effects if you take too much of it. So, this is why you really want to be conscious about supplementing with it. So, moving on to our next nutrient, iron. The body needs iron in order to make your thyroid peroxidase, which is then used to make your thyroid hormone, your free T4. So, when the body is deficient in iron, your free T4 levels actually drop and it will put your body in a hypothyroid state. So it's important to get iron rich foods from animal sources as much as you can. Vegetables like spinach do contain iron, of course. It's just the bioavailability of it is not going to be as great. And it's the best form is the heme sources of iron, which is what you're going to get from eating animal products. So the best food sources of that heme iron are liver, pastured beef, chicken, any sort of game meats will be a great option as well. Oysters are fantastic, as well as pastured eggs. And then selenium. So, selenium is important for the conversion of T4, for your free T4 to your free T3, which is your active thyroid hormone. And that gets converted in the liver, like I mentioned. And it also really helps to support the thyroid in making your overall thyroid hormones. Studies have shown that selenium can even reduce thyroid peroxidase antibodies and support the immune system. So, really important to get some great food sources of selenium in. Eating just 2 Brazil nuts a day is actually going to be an amazing way to get in your daily recommended amount of selenium. So, Brazil nuts are a great option. Tuna is amazing, halibut, sardines, shrimp, pastured beef, liver, as well as chicken. Those are going to be fantastic for you. Also, pastured eggs as well, and even cottage cheese. I mean, if you can ideally get your hands on more raw, that would be ideal because it's just so much more nutrient rich. And then cottage cheese could be a good option for you. And then lastly on the list here is the mineral that I am in love with. And I know so many of our clients are in love with as well. And that is magnesium. And when you take magnesium, literally your body is like taking this really big sigh of relief. It is so essential for thyroid function. And again, also helping with that conversion of T4 to T3. Studies have shown that low magnesium is associated with a higher increased risk of your antibodies, your TG antibodies, your TGA-B antibodies, and it increases Hashimoto's. So magnesium is really essential here to supplement with. This is probably the one that I could say, yes, you absolutely want to supplement with, but let's also look at food sources as well. Okay. It's also important to understand that with magnesium, it's the first mineral you are going to burn through if you are in a stressed state. Oftentimes, you're getting enough magnesium in your diet, probably with all the different variety and the things that you eat, but the amount of stress in your life is actually depleting it and like eating it all up, and it's causing a magnesium deficiency. So, the best food sources are going to be fatty fish, also leafy greens. You just want to make sure that they are cooked, okay, in order to really get all the nutrient density out of it and the digestibility of that as well. You want to make sure that they're cooked or steamed. Soaked seeds, legumes, and nuts, those are also going to be some really great sources of magnesium for you. And avocado is a really great source as well. And as a side note, avocado is also really rich in potassium as well. And we need potassium. We need that healthy sodium and potassium ratio to really support our adrenals as well as heart health. So avocados are really fantastic for that. I will also add on here chocolate. Now, I wouldn't say like go off and eat an entire chocolate bar. You obviously want really good quality chocolate, something that is ideally organic. You want something above 70%, but chocolate does have some really has a really good amount of magnesium in it. And even if you're using like cacao powder, that's going to have some really great magnesium too. I don't actually know the breakdown of how much magnesium you would get in, for example, like, half a cup of cacao powder if you're using that in like a baking recipe or throwing it in your smoothie or something. So, something I'll definitely have to look into, but I know it is a really great option. And it's also one of the reasons why we crave chocolate around our period. Our body needs more of those minerals around the time of our cycle. And so we end up craving chocolate, and really our body is saying, hey, give me minerals, give me some of that magnesium. A really inexpensive way that you can get extra magnesium into your system is with an Epsom salt bath. So you literally just put 1 cup of Epsom salts into some warm water and into your bath water and just soak in there for 20 minutes. And what happens is the magnesium will soak into your body via your skin. And that's a great, great way to de-stress and to just unwind. It's also a really great way to support your body before bedtime. And then you're getting all that amazing magnesium, which is great for sleep, great for stress, great for anxiety, and really amazing for thyroid function and overall hormonal health.